In the heart of the Philippines, where the humid air clings to your skin and the dense forests stand still under the cloak of night, there exists a legend that has haunted generations. A creature so terrifying, its mere name chills the spine. The Manananggal. In quiet villages scattered across the islands, people speak in hushed whispers of a creature that only comes out under the cover of night. With an unsettling human-like appearance by day, it hides a monstrous secret beneath its skin. When the sun sets, the Manananggal reveals itself. Its body splits, the top half detaches from the lower torso, and what was once a woman now becomes a grotesque, flying horror. Floating silently through the night, it hunts for victims. The Manananggal has a singular craving, a hunger that drives it to search for fresh blood, particularly that of pregnant women. With a long, slithering tongue, it will extend itself through windows, its eyes gleaming with hunger. Though it appears almost human, it is far from it. Once it has its target in sight, the Manananggal can fly swiftly through the air, avoiding detection, its wings silent as a whisper in the night. Once it finds its prey, usually a pregnant woman, the Manananggal lowers itself, its tongue slipping through cracks, seeking the warmth of the woman's body, thirsty for the unborn child's blood. It is only when the sun rises that the Manananggal must retreat, forced to rejoin its lower half. But the villagers have their own way of defending against the creature: salt, garlic, or, in the most terrifying of cases, a sharp, pointed object. If a Manananggal is not careful, its body, separated in flight, can be caught and destroyed before it returns to its human form. A single strike, and the lower half will be left helpless, vulnerable to the villagers' wrath. Even with the rise of modern medicine, the fear of the Manananggal lingers in the hearts of those who live in remote villages. For them, the legend is not just a story, it's a truth wrapped in the shroud of night, a warning to never forget the darkness that lurks within. And though it is said that the Manananggal has not been seen for many years, no one can shake the feeling that when the moon is full and the night is still, it may return. There are stories that cling to history like shadows, stories of the dead refusing to rest. This one is no legend. It happened in the forgotten village of Kisilyevo in the early 18th century. A tale of death, fear, and a man who returned without a face. Petar Blagoyevich, a middle-aged farmer, lay lifeless in his bed. His eyes, once sharp, were now empty voids. The villagers murmured their prayers, but a chill settled over them, a sense that something was deeply wrong. Petar's face looked unfinished, as if part of him was missing even in death. Days after Petar's burial, the village was struck by terror. 9 villagers died suddenly, each after a brief illness. On their deathbeds, they whispered of a faceless figure who came in the night, pressing down on their chests, stealing their breath. Petar's widow fled the village in horror. She claimed that her dead husband had returned to her in the dead of night, demanding his shoes. But his face was gone, replaced with smooth, pale skin. Driven by fear, the villagers exhumed Petar's grave. What they found made their blood run cold. His body was fresh, his skin uncorrupted, and blood dripped from his mouth. But the worst part, his face had smoothed over completely, as if death had erased his identity. The villagers did what they believed they must. A wooden stake pierced Petar's chest, and the body was burned. The flames roared high, but some swore they saw the faceless figure twisting in the fire, as if it were alive. The village of Kisilyevo returned to a fragile peace. But even now, on moonless nights, they say a faceless shadow roams the fields, searching for a new identity, a new face. Some stories are buried with the dead, but others refuse to stay buried. They linger, faceless and forgotten, waiting for someone to remember and fear them again. California, San Diego, a land of sun, beauty, and yes, darkness. In the heart of Old Town, one building is a most eerie reminder of this history, the Whaley House. This grand Victorian house has kept people talking, gossiping, and guessing for more than a century. But what sets this house apart from others? Why do so many say its walls are filled with spirits, stuck in clutches between life and death? Built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, the house was intended to be a luxurious family home. However, from the moment the first brick was laid, there were whispers of a darker history tied to the land. Before it became the Whaley House, the site had been used for public executions. Yes, the very ground beneath the house had seen blood spill when a man named James "Yankee Jim" Robinson was hanged for his crimes. Was it this violent past that cursed the land, or was there something far more sinister at play? As the Whaley family moved into the house, the first eerie events began. The family reported strange noises, the sound of footsteps echoing through empty hallways, doors opening and closing on their own, and even the faint scent of cigar smoke when no one was around. But it was one particular haunting that would forever cement the Whaley House's reputation as a place cursed by spirits, the haunting of the house's very first victim, Yankee Jim. Yankee Jim's spirit is said to roam the house to this day. Visitors and residents alike have claimed to see his ghost, an imposing figure hanging from the gallows, his last moments forever trapped in time. Some have reported hearing the heavy thud of his footsteps in the attic, or even witnessing the apparition of a man in a long coat and wide-brimmed hat pacing the rooms. Could the ghost of Yankee Jim be haunting this place, forever linked to the land that witnessed his brutal end? As years passed, it wasn't just Yankee Jim who haunted the Whaley House. The spirits of the Whaley family themselves were said to remain within its walls. Family members reported feeling a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, especially in the parlor and upstairs bedrooms. Thomas Whaley's own ghost was said to have been seen on the staircase, his form indistinct yet undeniably present. Could it be that he too had unfinished business, or was the house simply too entrenched in its dark history to let anyone leave in peace? As time passed, the house became a focal point for paranormal investigations. Ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike began to explore its haunted halls, reporting strange occurrences like cold spots, lights flickering, and objects moving on their own. Some even claim to have captured the sound of phantom footsteps on camera, or the disembodied laughter of children who never lived to see the house's construction. But these unexplained phenomena didn't just remain rumors, they were witnessed by countless visitors, leaving them with one lingering question: what truly dwells inside the Whaley House? Today, the Whaley House stands as a museum, attracting visitors eager to witness its haunted reputation firsthand. But those who enter are warned the spirits within are not easily appeased. People who dare to step into the Whaley House often report an unexplainable feeling of being watched, or sometimes the distinct sensation of a cold hand brushing against their neck. And for those who linger too long, there are whispers that the spirits will never let them leave, forever binding them to the house. The Whaley House remains one of the most haunted places in America. With its tragic past and unsettling presence, it continues to be a place where the living and the dead are forever intertwined. But remember, when you visit, be careful. Some spirits never leave, and some, like those of the Whaley House, seem to linger, waiting for the next person to fall victim to its curse.